You join me today as we look to get the points that will give us the title of Premier League champions for the second season running. Hello and welcome to episode 96 of Making Chelsea Stand Proud. My name is Mark, and on today's episode we have for you two games in the Premier League which will possibly either mean that we've blown up or we win the title, and more about that in just a moment. But don't forget, if you do enjoy today's episode, please leave me that big thumbs up, subscribe and hit the notification button. All helps here on YouTube. Right, when you were with us last time, no apologies for back-to-back episodes at the moment, because obviously we don't want to play a game offline and win the title while we're doing it. I don't think we can do it against Everton today, but it's possible that if we get a result against Everton, that we could, with a win against West Ham, secure the Premier League title, because the table looks like this. We're top on 84 points. Liverpool are in second on 73 points. Then come Manchester City third on 31 points. Manchester United have played their game in hand, lost it, believe it or not, against Sheffield United. And it was some ridiculous score like 4-1. We'll check in a moment. They are fourth on 61 points. Then come Newcastle on fifth on 56. Arsenal are sixth on 55. And then Southampton taking up the last of the European places on 50. But Brentford are breathing down their necks as it is. So, and just behind them, Tottenham on 48 points. So there's three teams there vying for that last European place, a 5-point gap then up to Arsenal, who are in sixth. So as it stands, everybody have played. I say everybody, that's not strictly true. There's Aston Villa and Arsenal still got a game in hand, so technically Arsenal could actually move up into fifth if they win that game against Aston Villa. Aston Villa down in the relegation zone, West Ham already relegated. So on the basis that everybody has played 33 points, we'll work on that for the moment. It does mean that there are 5 games left to play, 38 games in this season, of course, which is 3 5s of 15 points available. So Liverpool could still get 88 points. So as I said, a win against a West Ham would mean that all we need, against Everton would mean that all we need is a draw. And when you look at it, we've dropped 4 points in the last 5 games. Get a draw against Leeds, a draw against Brentford in the last episode. And those 2 draws, if we'd picked up an extra 4 points there, we would have been there pretty much already. And, well, yeah, the rest is history, as they say. But that's how it stands. Manchester City, the best that they can get is 86 points. So it's looking very much like a 2-horse race, us and Liverpool. And the one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to get to here by virtue of something going wrong in these 2 games. We don't want to get to here, because technically this is a 6-pointer and could be a championship decider, because if we lose to Liverpool, they could close the gap on us quite dramatically. So let's do it before we get to there, if we may. And that's what the plan is to do. Right, in other news, we have had our budgets already set. They've increased our wage budget to 6 million. Very generous. And we have a transfer budget of just shy of 107 million. So they are the budgets that have already been given to us. Going into this game, I don't think there's too much else to tell you, so we'll get on with the excitement, get on with the episode. Our first game up then is a game against Everton at Stamford Bridge. Where else would it be good? I mean, it would have been nice to have secured it at Stamford Bridge, but I'm sure a trip to the London Stadium against West Ham will mean there's quite a big contingent of Chelsea fans going there to see that match. Obviously, capacity there is quite good. As you'll see, this is a recent history against Everton. We haven't lost to them this series. We've won 5, drawn 3. Today's not the day to draw another one. A win today would be suffice. The last couple of games at Stamford Bridge, Premier League last season, we beat them 3-0. A return result of that would be fine today. Previous to that, 5-0 and 1-0 at Stamford Bridge in the 3 occasions that we've met them. Otherwise, we've been to Everton for most of those games. So that is what we require today. In fact, let's have a quick look. London Stadium doesn't tell us how many people can go there. Or does it? It will do here somewhere. Capacity is 65,000. 65,825. So I'm sure we can get quite a few Chelsea fans in. But it could be celebrations in that game against Liverpool, which will be in the next episode. Right, as I said, let's get on with it. Let's have a look at the team that will face Everton in the game, which could take us to within 1 point of retaining the Premier League. And here is the team that will face Everton in this Premier League match, day 34. I've just realised, actually, Liverpool aren't playing. We're playing on Wednesday in game, Wednesday the 29th of April. We don't play on Saturday. All the other sides appear to be playing on Saturday. We're not playing on Saturday. We play again the following Wednesday against West Ham, by which time Liverpool will have played their game, which should technically be their game in hand. So we will know how they've done. But interestingly, they are playing Everton as well in a Merseyside derby. So that could be quite an interesting game. Last time out, Everton beat Southampton by 1-0. Prior to that, lost 3-0 to Leicester, or 6-1 to Bayern Munich. 1-0 win against Tottenham and a 1-0 loss against Bayern Munich. So they've had a bit of a mixed bunch. 1-2, lost 3 in their last 5 games. The team then that faces Everton: Maganan, Cucurella, Gvardiol, Garcia and James make up the defensive line. Savic and Kante in midfield. Rodrigo out on the left. Havertz in that attacking playmaker role. Sterling out on the right. Matthias Tell leads the attack. Karnaseci, Koulibaly, Kovacic, Barbosa, Timber, Fernandes, Koeman, Fofana and Dewsbury Hall make up the bench. And just before I went through and submitted the team, I realised that Fratisi wasn't in there. So Fernandes has given up, put Fratisi on the bench instead of Fernandes. And this is how the two sides line up. Bruno Lage is the manager at Everton. I also noticed that David De Gea, I know he's left Manchester United in real life, but he's left Manchester United in this sphere as well, and he's ended up at Everton. Jordan Pickford is in goal for Everton, of course. Malenkio, Mykolenko, Braithwaite, Mina and Patterson are the defensive line. Toussaint is the defensive midfielder. Berger and Gruev in central midfield. Macias and McNeil, Dwight McNeil, I think that was the old Burnley player, out on the right. And Nketiah is the attack. De Gea, as we've already mentioned, on the bench with Murray, Gordon, Taremi, Richarlison, Godfrey, Ribeiro, Struck and Aguilar. My pronunciation is terrible, I know. Confirmation of those two teams for you. First highlight, just 5 minutes in. Savic finds a way through, and it's gone in. Question of offside. I'm not quite sure. I've really... was Sterling in an offside position? Think he may have been. He was. Yeah, looked a bit suspicious, didn't it? There he is. And it's sort of come off the defender. James with a throw in on that far side. Raheem Sterling. James. Kante. Havertz, who's playing as the attacking midfielder, sort of in the off roll. Oh, Rodrigo, lovely. He just caught that nicely. 9th goal of the season for Rodrigo. And we go 1 up after 17 minutes. Lovely through ball. Rodrigo hitting it on the volley. Just bounced nicely for him. We have a corner now. James with an outswinger. And it is Gvardiol who headed it over the top. And no more highlights. Half time comes. Productive first half. We've got our noses in front, but only by a goal. We've had 11 shots, 4 on target. And Everton have had 4 shots, 2 on target. They've hit their 50%. 0.87 against 0.43 on the old XG. We've had 55% of the possession against their 45. It's not been a bad first half, but we need to be better in the second. And with 60 minutes on the clock, going to make a couple of changes because we really want that second goal and we can't find a way through at the moment. So what we've done is we've made a couple of changes. Raheem Sterling not having a good day out there on the right. He's come off, and Gabriel Barbosa, who can find goals for us, he's come on the right. We've also then moved Milinkovic-Savic up into that attacking midfield role. Havertz has gone up front on the attack. Matthias Tell has come off for Fratisi, and Fratisi has gone into central midfield. They're the 2 changes for the moment, just to see if we can find that goal. Cucurella with a throw in to Gvardiol. Fratisi back to Maganan. Gvardiol again. Fratisi. Kante. Kante finds Barbosa, who's come on that right-hand side. He's got James in support. James to Barbosa. Barbosa crosses it in. It's come back off the woodwork or the goalkeeper. Fratisi has another go at it. Rodrigo's still alive. But straight in the arms of Pickford. And with 68 minutes on the clock, nearly 69, making one more change. Reece James is tiring. Not sure. I don't think he's picked up a knock, but he's very tired. And he has come off. And Yarin Timber goes out on that right-hand wing, wing-back position. Free kick for Everton. And they come forward. Gvardiol is there, though. Brings it back to Maganan. Garcia. And out wide looking for Rodrigo. Rodrigo, he's got support in the middle. Pulls it back to Fratisi. Fratisi to Savic. And his 6th goal of the season. And that was deadly when he launched that one. Lovely play. Rodrigo getting there. He's getting tired, but he's got out there. Fratisi will get the assist. Put it into the path of Savic. Savic plants it in the corner. 2-0. And with 84 minutes on the clock, having got that 2-goal cushion now, we've taken off Kai Havertz. Barbosa has moved up to the attacking position. Koeman comes on in his place on that right-hand side. We just check. And he prefers to play on the left, but inverted winger is fine. So he's there. And we've also replaced Gvardiol, who was having a good game, but he's tiring, and we want to make sure that defence is sound. So Khalido Koulibaly is coming back from injury, can only play 45 minutes, so he's going to get just short of 5 to 10 minutes given injury time, just to bring himself, or start to bring himself back up to match speed. And it's all over, no more highlights, and we have succeeded in getting ourselves a 2-0 win, and as I said at the start, that potentially puts us in a situation where a draw against West Ham will secure the title. But we'll look at that a bit more in depth in a moment. 19 shots, 7 on target, 1.52 on the XG, 56% of the possession. They had 6 shots, 2 on target, so they didn't get any more on target in the second half. 0.48 and 44% of the possession. We were that little bit better at the second half, but obviously very cagey given what's been going on. So that is how it's finished. Player of the match for Savic. 5 key passes he made and a goal to boot. So he's done very well. For TC getting an assist when he came on as well. So I'm quite happy. Let's go and see how that's affected the table. So there we go. Confirmation of that result. A 2-0 win against Everton. Leicester beating Wolves 2-1. Sheffield United and Fulham drawing 0-0, as did Southampton and West Ham. Tottenham 1, Brighton 1. How does that affect the table? Well, as it stands, with 4 games left to play, 12 points available. Liverpool, as I said, can get 88 unless they lose, and it's going to be a bit of a damp squib, isn't it, if Liverpool go and lose to Everton in the Merseyside derby on Saturday. To be fair, that would really sort of like mess things up, in as much as we want to do it by winning a game and all the rest of it, but we'll see. That game coming up, we'll check that out as between games, obviously, as it comes up. Manchester City are third on 71. I'm not sure there's any effect on that bottom part of the table either. Brighton, by the draw with Tottenham, still leave themselves 6 points now, albeit Aston Villa do have a game in hand on them, and could close that down to just 3 points if they were to win their game, their next game. So we'll see. It's all to play for. Let's go. I will keep you informed of any news as it happens. Well, one thing I don't think I brought you up to date with was the Champions League. After we got knocked out, we've sort of left it alone, really. So I thought I'd round up, first of all, on the quarterfinal results. And these are aggregate scores as well. Manchester City beating Wolves in the quarterfinals by 6 goals to 2. Paris Saint-Germain beating Liverpool by 3 goals to 2. In the other side of the draw, Bayern Munich beating Everton by 7 goals to 1. And Real Madrid, our victors over us, beating Juventus by 3 goals to 1. And then when we go to the semi-finals, first legs have been played. I think that's all. Real Madrid have taken a 2-goal lead to Bayern Munich. Question is it enough? Bayern Munich, current holders, of course, of that competition. And then Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City are 0-0 at half-time in that one. Next round of games, 5th and 6th of May. So we'll look at that in the future. And as you know, I like these screens. And match momentum against Everton, as you'll see, Everton had absolutely none of the game at all. We were in command pretty much all game. And it's monthly awards time. Ben Chilwell has finished third in the Player of the Month. Salah winning it, 4 goals from 4 appearances. And Ben Chilwell gets it on 3 assists. So Eddie scored a goal, might have helped him a little bit. Jess Lingard getting second place for Middlesbrough. And while we're at it, Matthias Tell scoops a Young Player of the Month ahead of Hansen Aron and Michael Murray from Everton. He made 5 appearances, scored 3 goals, a 7.04. So he's done very well. But Jurgen Klopp has the Manager of the Month, 100% win ratio. Whereas we only had an 80% win ratio. That was virtue of that draw, of course. And Grant McCann from Sheffield United finishing third. And here are the Saturday games that could influence this race for the title and also, of course, relegation. Everton will play Liverpool, and that really, whatever happens there, is the one that decides what happens in the game against West Ham. And then down in the relegation zone, Aston Villa, 6 points adrift at the bottom, will play Wolves, who aren't completely free of that bottom at the moment. Just above them, Brighton are playing Southampton, a South Coast derby there. And Norwich, will they play West Ham or on the bottom? So Norwich must think they've got a fairly good chance of pulling away. Let's have a look and see what the results are. And exactly what I thought might happen has happened. Everton have drawn 1-1 with Liverpool, which means we have retained the Premier League trophy after that win against Everton and not playing a game, and we have retained it. So the most ever Liverpool can get now are 86 points. We are 13 points clear of them, and there's no way they're going to close that gap. We have retained the Premier League. All we need to do now is beat Liverpool and retain the FA Cup as well, which would be rather good. So that's how it's at. Manchester City beating Sheffield United 4-0, which means that they are right on top of Liverpool, just sitting behind them on goal difference. So a little bit of a thing going on there. Aston Villa now are just 3 points away from the drop zone and disappearing into the Championship for next season. They are on 28 points. They can only get 12 points, which would give them 40 points. And Fulham and Brighton are sat there with just 3 points off of that. But then there's Norwich and Wolves as well, still inside that 40. So it's still mathematically possible. Leeds United have played 35 games. They only have 3 games, 9 points again. Can only get 40. So it's becoming very close for Leeds and Aston Villa to end up dropping through the trapdoor. That's how it is going in. We'll be back for the West Ham game. And in other news, bad news has come to us. Yaron Timber, he's got a calf strain. He's out for 4 to 5 weeks. That's his season over, and also means he'll miss the FA Cup final, which is really, really bad news. And, well, we feel very sorry for him. It's been an integral part of our season. Yaron Timber. He's played 43 games for us this season, 11 from the bench, scored 3 goals, and is currently on a 6.96, a 7.07 in the Premier League. So he's had a good old season, and just disappointing he won't be with us at Wembley in the FA Cup final. So very disappointed for him, and we might just miss him. So it is then to the game against West Ham today. Previous meetings against West Ham, we've played them 4 times in this series so far, beaten them every time. The last 3 occasions have been at Stamford Bridge. We've only played them at the London Stadium once, beat them 5-1 on that occasion. That was back in the Premier League back in 2022, before they got relegated last time, I think it was. Then we played them in the EFL Cup 4th round in 2024. Third round in 2024. And then, of course, played them earlier this season. A 2-0 win on that occasion. Goals from Havertz and Koulibaly, presumably from a corner, giving us that 2-0 win at Stamford Bridge. But today, as I say, it's the London Stadium. Let's go and have a look at the team that will face West Ham. And this is the team that will face West Ham at the London Stadium in this Premier League match day 35. Magnan in goal, Chilwell, Gvardiol, Fofana and James are defensive line. Kovacic and Fernandes in midfield with Matthias Tel, Mason Mount and Kingsley Coman as attacking midfield. Havertz up front. On the bench we have Carnasecchi, Garcia, Cucurella, Koulibaly, Fratisi, Sterling, Barbosa, Rodrigo and Savic. And here we confirm the teams and how they face up against one another. And they have Niko Kovac is the manager. Fernandes in goal, Sessegnon, Collins, Lindelof and Selic. Their defensive line. Vinks and Adams are defensive midfielders. Cantwell, Dele Alli and Valsic are the attacking midfield, sitting behind Mateta, Pacheto, Timon, Gomez, Luca, Henrik, Lovato, Mohamed, Alzate and Romain are on the bench. Confirmation of the two teams for you. And we have a first highlight. Barely 2 minutes in, Koeman across. And Reece James gets his second of the season. And after 2 minutes, we go a goal up. Let's hope it's not too early. Gavardiol threw it in. Koeman brought it down. And James was in acres of space. Fernandes, Lindenhoff, Adams, back to Fernandes, Collins, Vinks, Lindenhoff, and Lindenhoff gives it away, and Havertz is got his 47th of the season. They messed around with that, didn't they? And with barely 10 minutes on the clock, we go 2 up. And you can see why they're going to get relegated if this is... Just get it upfield. Lindenhoff messed around with it, and Havertz doesn't miss those. He's 47th of the season. Corner now. Mason Mount with the corner. Swung in. Headed clear. And Fernandes heads it down. Kovacic. Mount. Gavardio. Chilwell. Fofana. Fofana finds James. James punts it over the top. It's bumping around. And so nice play there. Who was that? That was Kovacic. Lovely play, but didn't come away with the ball, unfortunately. Kovacic tracking back and wins that ball, but gives it away to Selleck. Chilwell. Selleck, poor pass. Chilwell goes out wide to Koeman, who's in acres of space. Finds Mount, and he puts it wide. Or was it Havertz? Who was that? It looked like Mount. Let's have a look at that again, because that's deceived me somewhat. Chilwell to Koeman. It was Mount. Chilwell with a throw in to Mason Mount. Mason Mount is tackled, and they've had a sending off. Chilwell with the corner, and Gavaldio heads it over the top. And half time has arrived. They've had 2 shots, 1 on target, 0.08, 52% of the possession. They've had a player sent off, Selleck getting sent off after the half hour. But we have a 2-goal lead. Reece James after 2 minutes. Kai Havertz after 10 minutes. Well, we are in the lead, but we've not been over convincing. Let's hope for better in the second half. First highlight of the second half. 56 minutes in. Chilwell with the corner swings it in. It's gone wide. Just thinking about making a change, but we have another highlight. Mount swings it in. It's come back off the woodwork. And Havertz gets his 48th of the season. It fell to Havertz. Who else would it fall to? We'll have a look at it again. 3-0 after 66 minutes. It was Gavaldio. Goalkeeper missed it. Or did he push it onto the crossbar? I'm not sure which. But Havertz was there. Tucks it away. And with nearly 72 minutes on the clock, making 3 changes. Gavaldiol is off. Eric Garcia comes on to replace him. Mateus Tell is off. And Sterling, Raheem Sterling on for him. And Mason Mount comes off. And Milinkovic-Savic comes on as that attacking playmaker for him. They're the changes for the moment. We will make some more. We want to, obviously, with the Liverpool game coming up, want to preserve some of these players. So we need to just see how we go over the next 5-10 minutes, down to about 80 minutes, and might make some more changes just to rest a few players. Chilwell, 76 minutes on the clock, has come back off the woodwork again. And with 80 minutes on the clock, as prophesied, made in our final 2 changes. Mateo Kovacic is off, and Davide Fratesi is on. And the other change we've made is Havertz has come off, and Rodrigo comes on in attack for him. Another corner. Chilwell with the corner. Swung in. It's gone in this time. And Wesley Fofana gets his 7th of the season. 4-0 on 90 minutes. been unlucky with corners so far, and Fofana just getting enough on that. Another corner, Chilwell. Swings it in, this time it's cleared, but Sterling, Chilwell has a go, come back off the woodwork. He was offside, I think. Free kick just outside the area. We're in the 3rd minute of 3 minutes added on. That's punted upfield. And we will get the Premier League lift at the end of this game. That is for sure. Garcia. Magnan, who's kept another clean sheet, equals the record of Ederson for the Premier League. 20 in the season. That ball forward, but too far forward for Rodrigo. And that has got to be pretty much it. It comes again. It is all over now. And we get the lift. So Magnan just needs one more clean sheet in order to break that record by Ederson. And we will get the Premier League lift. A comprehensive win against West Ham today. Bragging rights as well. And there we go. Retained the Premier League. Who's going to do the cartwheel rather? It's number 23. Number 23, Kingsley Coman doing the cartwheel. And there's confirmation of that scoreline. 4-0, 2-0 at half-time, 4-0 at the end of the game. 30 shots, 13 on target, nearly 50%. 3.61, 55% of the possession. They had 3 shots, just the one on target, 0.28, 45% possession. Reece James after 2 minutes. Havertz 10 and 66. And Wesley Fofana from a corner after 90 minutes, giving us the day. Wesley Fofana actually got player of the match. Wrestled it from Kai Havertz. But we have 3 players scoring over 8 today, which is very, very good. Kai Havertz on an 8.3. Wesley Fofana on 8.4. And Kingsley Coman on an 8.2. Good day at the office. Let's have a look and see how that leaves us in the table. And so there we are, top of the pops. 16 points clear of Liverpool. They do have a game in hand over us, as do Manchester City. Maximum points we can get are 99 points for the season. And that's what we're working towards, of course. But we've got Liverpool up next, which could throw a little bit of a curved ball in there somewhere. And I know we were keeping one eye on the Champions League, weren't we? Manchester City beating Paris Saint-Germain 2-0 on the evening, 2-0 on aggregate. So they're through to the final. Bayern Munich overturned the 2-0 lead that Real Madrid had going into that fixture, as they always do. And a 3-0 win on the evening gives them a 3-2 win on aggregate. And they will be more than happy with that. Through to the final again. Holders, of course, wanting to retain that trophy. They're up against Manchester City at the Stadio Olimpico for the final, which will let you know what the score is when we get there. Well, that's end of another really good episode. Does it tell you how many games we've won? Doesn't actually at the minute. Just sometimes it tells you how many games in the Premier League we've actually gone. We will let you know. It's quite a few. The last time we lost in the Premier League, we've lost once this season in the Premier League, and it's way back here. There it goes, Manchester City, really right near the start of the season. That's the only game we've lost in the Premier League all season. Since then, we've been unbeaten. So we've been unbeaten since 18th of October was the last time we lost in the league. So can we complete the season with just that one loss? Well, join me and find out is the answer. Liverpool and Arsenal in the next episode then, before we face Liverpool in an FA Cup final. So a dress rehearsal in the next episode, and then we'll finish up the season and possibly the series, unless you leave me comments and thumbs up down below, and I want a few of them in order to keep this going. If you get the thumbs up to let me know that you want this going, and also some comments, then we'll keep the series going just for another season, one more season, just to see if we can win the Champions League, and that would really put the icing on the series cake, so to speak. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you have, don't forget to leave me that big thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification button. That'll keep you up to date with all future episodes of Making Chelsea Stand Proud. And, of course, our other series, To Be a Legend, and any new series as we release them. If you want to keep up to date with what's happening on this channel, the best way of doing it is to follow me on Twitter at JustOffsideFM. New episodes of Making Chelsea Stand Proud, currently released every Tuesday and Friday at 4:15 p.m. Thank you for watching. Hope that you can join me for the next episode. It's out on Tuesday. Until then, have yourself a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.